Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jonesin with Jeff Drake.
Hey kids, this is Jonesin with Jeff Drake. I'm your host, Jeff Drake, and we got a great episode for you guys tonight, this afternoon, this morning. I don't know, you might be in Australia, you might be in Africa. I don't know where you're watching this, but or what time of day. If it's on the East Coast, you're probably snowed in, but that won't mean anything a week from now. But anyway, so welcome to the show. We got a great guest lined up too. I'll tell you about her in a minute. First, I want to talk about we got a couple Joneses shows coming up in the near future, and we only do a couple a year, so this might be it, but we'll see. Anyway, we're playing March the 15th at Alex's in Long Beach with a band called MIA, and I've heard they're from Orange County. I've heard they're from Las Vegas. I'm not sure which, but I'm sure it's one of those anyway. And I don't think they would mind if I called them a punk rock band. I think that's what they consider themselves. So anyway, it's going to be a great show at Alex's, and that's an early Sunday show, one of those afternoon shows for us old folks. And then on Saturday, April the 4th, the Joneses are playing at the Corbin Bowl with the Groovy Rednecks and the Faith Jones Band, and that's at a normal time. I think Faith starts at 8, the Groovy Rednecks at 9, Jones is at 10. Both shows are 21 and over. And so unless you're listening in the future, that's what's happening. If you're listening anytime after April 2026, none of that matters. Okay, so that's something to look forward to if you're in Southern California in the next month or two. So anyway, my first guest, or my only guest today actually, is Paige Darling. I've known Paige for a long time. When I met her, she was a singer of a band called the Darlings back in the mid 90s. And she's written a book, and I think she writes poetry. And right now she's selling real estate out in the desert. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Anyway, so welcome to the show, Paige.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me. It's such a
Oh, sure. It's going to be fun.
cool thing.
So yeah, we've known each other, what, about 30 years or so? You were in the
A long
Darlings, and I
time.
was in Amanda Jones when we met, right?
Yep, that's right. But I knew who you were from the Joneses. I knew who
Right.
you were
And
from the Joneses. Can
if
you
you
hear
could
me?
speak up a little bit, Paige, or get closer to the mic, I'm having a little hard time hearing you. Um,
Okay.
So when we started Amanda Jones, the Darlings had already been kind of established. You guys were already sort of known around town, and in a way, we were sort of like rivals because we both had girl singers and rock and roll bands and stuff. Like I said, you guys were already going by the time we got going, and I always sort of thought of you as like a maybe a female Iggy Pop or something. Does that sound about right? Is that kind of what you were
Thank
going
you
for?
very much. Yes, I like that. I've heard it before, and actually, I love Iggy, so that's a compliment.
Yeah, Iggy's great,
Absolutely. Yeah, I
and we
remember when you guys came in and you guys got signed to Bump right away, and I was Greg's roommate, and I was just like, why aren't you signing us? And he's like, you guys will break up.
Yeah, Greg Shaw came up to Mandy. It was our first show at the Coconut Teaser, and he came up to her afterwards and said, "Hey, I want to record you guys." And we were kind of shocked, because it was our first show. But Mandy was great, so I can understand why he wanted to, sign her and have us and everything. So we got really lucky in that way. And we
Yeah,
did some shows with you guys. I can remember at least two. Do you remember how many times we played together?
yeah, at least two, maybe three, maybe three. I know we
Okay,
did a couple at Bar Deluxe, and we might have done one somewhere else.
yeah, we did one at a place called the Burgundy Room, I think, on Melrose, and then Bar Deluxe, and then there was also I don't even know if it was a club. It was on, shoot, I can't remember what street. It was in between Sunset and Hollywood.
Was it at the R&R, not R&R, oh, it was Fortress
It was a big
Studios?
place. I can't. It wasn't there for very long. I
Oh,
remember,
Moguls? Was it a club or or a rehearsal studio?
or a what?
Was it a club or a rehearsal studio?
Good question. It was a really big room. It seemed like it's hard to remember. That was 30
I
years ago. But
know.
anyway, we did some shows together, and they were fun. I thought our bands went well together because we weren't too much alike, and I mean, we were like a little poppier. You guys were more like rock and roll. I mean, we were both rock and roll bands, but your band was kind of, I don't know, I would say raunchier, not in a bad way, but sort of rough and tough. And we were a
Yeah.
little bit more pop music.
You guys were a little more polished too.
Well, Mandy made sure that we rehearsed for about 5 years before we did our first show to make sure that we were really good. But so you want to tell everybody how I didn't meet you until you were already in the Darlings. You want to tell everybody how that got together?
Yeah, that was well, I was looking for a band, and I had been playing with this guy named Gabriel Curry, and we had been rehearsing and writing songs with Durf Scratch. And then he got like into this money band called Slink, which didn't really go anywhere, but I was surprised they didn't because Gabriel was awesome. And so I was living with my husband Robbie at the time up on Bronson Canyon, and I was looking in LA Weekly. It was LA Weekly. There was an ad in there from Lance, the bass player of the Darlings. And then he came over, met me, left me a demo tape. And then I went over to my friend Greg Shaw's house and I said, "What do you think this would sound like with my vocals?" And he was like, "I think it'd sound better with your vocals." So I thought it was pretty cool too. I liked the music. And then we got together and rehearsed. They didn't have a drummer, so I brought Roy Morgan in. And then we rehearsed, and that was the start of that. It was great. Roy was awesome. They loved him.
Yeah, too
Um,
bad about Roy.
I know.
I
It was
was doing
sad.
a book signing at what's that place called in Echo Park, Stories or something like that, the night that he died. And I had just been in
Really?
touch with him because the thing that he was in the hospital for, that potassium thing
Yeah.
deficiency, I had had the same thing about, oh gosh, 15, no, 15, 20, 15 years before or something. And I know how serious that is. And we were talking about it. And then I guess he had a heart attack a couple days later and passed away in the hospital. That was really sad.
That was terrible because I talked to him like the day before because we were going to do that reunion show with the Darlings and you were going to play. And that was his birthday party. And then he passed away.
Yeah. And then, so how long were the Darlings together?
We were from 1990, like 1995 to about 1990 until I got pregnant with my son and they kicked me out.
No Pregos running the band, huh?
and then they wanted me back, but I was 9 months pregnant because I guess their producer and their guitar player Derek, who was our guitar player, they said those two wanted me back as singer. And then I couldn't even breathe. I was 9 months pregnant. So I was like, you guys gonna have to wait. And then after the baby, and at that point, it wasn't the same. So it kind of just,
Yeah. It
fizzed
never is.
out. Yeah.
Like they say, you can't be in the same river twice. So,
Yeah.
if you guys got together in '95, I guess we probably started our bands at the same time. Like I said, we rehearsed for a long time before we ever started playing out. Because you
Wow.
guys were already around when we started, I think.
Yeah, and it was fun. We kind of started a scene at Fortress Studios. We started having keggers there, and then it was just an interesting time. I don't want to. A lot of people were doing heroin. Everyone my band didn't do heroin. My band, they were like alkies, and I liked to do other
Yeah.
stuff. but
Nobody in Amanda Jones did heroin either, except me, and it kind of ruined everything. Um, but you guys did some recording, right? Because aren't you guys on either the Shakedown thing or that movie
we're
soundtrack that we were on, that Born to Lose? Aren't you guys on one of those
Yeah,
things? I
we're
think
on Born to Lose.
Born to
Born
Lose.
to Lose, and that Here Network one. That was with Ginger Coyote. I like that Badsville movie.
The what?
The Badsville. Have you heard that one? That was
Oh, I
another
haven't.
movie. We weren't on that one, but there's some
Oh,
good music on that one. Throw
but so
Rag,
you guys were on
bunch
that
of
Born
them.
to Lose soundtrack? Is that the one?
We
Because I
were.
know I've got it.
Were you guys on that one too?
Yeah, we got, I think, two
That's
songs
a
on it.
good soundtrack.
Yeah,
I like
the
that one.
Super Bees are on that, and
Yeah,
two good bands. I think Jonathan Richman, Iggy Pop, some good stuff on that. I
there
knew
is
Doug
some good
Cocker, the
stuff on
guy that
that.
made the movies from Canada or something, and Yeah, that was a fun
Yeah,
time.
I
Everybody was on
remember
heroin.
him. I
Not
can't remember
everybody.
who put the soundtrack together. Was it the? I guess it was the producer or something. I don't know.
Doug? Doug
But
Cocker?
Bonk put that soundtrack out. Born to Lose.
Right, right, right. Did you see
He
the
put that
movie?
one
I
out.
went to the premiere of the
I
movie. It
did
was,
see the movie. Yeah, I think I
yeah,
was at the premiere too.
yeah,
I
interesting.
remember your record release party.
Amanda Jones
Uh
release
huh.
party?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
on
that was a fun night.
Cadillac Cafe on Fairfax, right?
Uh huh. That was
Yeah, we
fun.
played a teaser, and then afterwards we went to the the restaurant. That was fun.
Yep. Yeah. And that night, that was an interesting night. Well, first of all, I met Elliot Kidd there that night, and he was super cool. Greg was like, "You need to meet this guy." He was friends with Johnny Thunders because he knew Johnny was one of my faves. And and then we went to with Faith Jones to after your record release party. We went with Faith Jones to Jumbo's Clown Room,
You went
and
where?
we went to Jumbo's
Oh,
Clown
Jumbo's. Yeah,
Room.
okay.
Yeah, and I danced the last two songs in my underwear in Prague.
Wow. Actually, the Joneses are playing with Faith's band at the Corbin Bowl in April, April 4th. I was just talking
Oh,
about.
I gotta go see that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's with
coming to town
Faith
for that
Jones
one.
band and their Groovy Rednecks and the Joneses at Corbin Bowl, and then we're playing at Alex's on the Ides of March with MIA, who are supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I saw you at Alex's last time when you were
Yeah,
supposed to play with the Zeros. That was a good
right. The
show.
Zeros canceled. That was last July. That was a good show too. And then
Yeah.
you and I did a thing at was that no? That was with the Poobah, and I can't remember the bass player's name at that the place, the Offbeat in Highland Park, I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah. That was Rick Collins. Um, yeah, that was for that was the Roy's birthday party that turned into a memorial.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay, that's
Yes,
how sad. But that was a
I
good time. That
know.
was a good time.
It was fun.
My
It
book
was
had just
fun.
come out. I was selling books in the back patio and Jones's Records, and we got up and did a couple songs.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
That
really
was fun.
cool.
I drove all the way down from Merced for that. That was a good time.
You did. That's right. Where do you live now?
I live in Reseda
Okay.
in the valley. I mean, Merced's in the
Valley.
valley too, but it's a different valley. It's a bigger valley. Now I live in the San Fernando Valley. Merced's
Right
in the
on.
Great.
Right on. And so what was it like when like how long did it take you to write your book?
Altogether, about 2 months.
Damn. You're fast. You cut right through
Well,
all that resistance. I
you want to
I
hear
face resistance.
you want to hear the story about it, and then we'll talk about your
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Okay. So about 30 years ago, or actually more, about 35 years ago now, my friend Jeff Davis, the guy that put out the Joneses Anita Fix record, he started as soon as we became friends. He's like, Jeff, you got to write a book. You know, you've had such a whatever life, you got to write about it. I'm like, I don't write books. I write songs. Songs take about 20 minutes. Books take longer. I just don't have the discipline. And what am I going to write about? And he's like, oh, talk about your life. And I'm like, well, I tell you what, if you can find somebody to write a book about me, I'll collaborate with them. I don't want to write a book about myself. It's just going to be me talking about myself. That's boring. And so anyway, he'd been bugging me for like 30 years. And then when me and my wife split up, when I was living in Merced, this was during the pandemic, he's like, Jeff, now's the time. You're not getting any younger. Now you've got all this time on your hands. You really got to write the book. And so I started writing it, and I couldn't really get into it. I would write like a page a week, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And then I thought, after a couple of weeks, I thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I got to get serious about it. I got to do it every day, and really keep at it. So I did. I started doing it every day, about 4 or 5 hours a day till my back hurted, and um, if I didn't do it one day, I would feel like I didn't feel right. Like, I guess if you start jogging and then you don't do it one day, kind of like that, although I've never jogged, so I don't know. But once I got started like that, it took about 2 months. And I would just, before I started, I would just sit and think about it for about an hour and try to remember about the topic I was writing about. And then I would just start typing away. And I started at the beginning and just typed all the way through. There was no first draft, no second draft, just it was almost stream of consciousness, just sort of trying to remember stuff. So once I got started, to go really quickly.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna try to take a page out of your playbook and see if I can get mine finished because I am facing serious resistance, self
I thought you had.
resistance.
I thought you wrote something that's coming out on
Yeah, that's
Iris's.
my poetry book. My poetry book is called Trigger Poetry, and it's just a collection. It's about 35 poems. It's not
You
out
got
yet.
offered a deal for that, right? But you turned it down.
Yeah, I actually did. I didn't like the deal after I got the contract. So now I'm actually looking for an agent. And I've kind
Okay.
of, I haven't got one yet, but they know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
But I thought I saw Iris from Punk Hotch's Press. I thought I saw her post a couple things talking about a book that you were doing with her about your sort of your life in Hollywood and the Hollywood It Girl, that kind of
um,
stuff. What's
no,
that all about?
she's not doing it, but she doesn't. I sent her something on it. She liked what I wrote, which was cool. But I haven't sent her like a manuscript or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was going
So
to originally publish my book, and then she changed her mind, and so now I asked her. So, do you kind of feel like the guy that didn't sign the Beatles? You know, you feel like you missed out.
what'd she
Anyway,
say?
and she didn't really say much. I was just kind of teasing her. But anyway, yeah. So okay,
That's funny.
so did you finish your memoir kind of book?
My
Is that done?
memoir, no, it's not finished. I'm about 200 pages in, and that's I. Every time I start editing so much out, and then
Oh,
I start writing so much in. So I need more discipline as to I need to just write it and then edit it instead of like both. I'm like really messed up.
when I did mine, I just sort of self-edited as I was doing it. Like I said, there was no first draft, there was no revisions. I started writing and I wrote to the end, and then that was it. It was done.
I'm gonna try it, Jeff. I'm gonna try to do that. But I
Uh,
have so much like it's it's kind of a mess right now. It's just kind of a
so are
mess
you
right
putting
now.
like a time limit on it as far as like you're writing about your life? I ended mine
Yeah.
when I quit the vice principals in 2001 because after that I felt like my life was kind of boring. Are you writing all the way to the current time? Are you doing any
Actually,
more?
what I'm writing right now is pre-darlings, and
Okay.
it's because that shit was crazy, and that's why it's called Memoirs of a Fool. Then the darling stuff. I got like 3 books in me, so if I don't hurry up, I might not make it because I'm getting pretty old right now. Um,
Okay.
but um, yeah. When I get more of it done, it's right now. It's like 150 short stories.
Your
So
memoirs is so it's like anecdotal. It's just like little stories. It's not like a
well,
narrative of your whole life.
I want to make it into chronological,
Uh-huh.
like chronological themed memoir, but um I'm just kind of a mess right now. I kind of need help, I think.
Well, most writers are. So is it episodic? I mean, is it about? Are you talking about like episodes, or is it just like a grand narrative, like the big sweep of your whole life? How are you
Yeah,
approaching
it's
it?
kind of like a grand narrative,
Okay,
but it comes out of me in stories because it's
okay,
just
and you're
weird.
sort of
It's
tying
just
them together chronologically.
yeah,
Is that how you're doing it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's kind of it's. I have a lot of writing, and then I have like I have about 3 feet of poetry, like this much, like a yard. I have
Uh
so
huh.
much because I've been writing it for so long, but I kind of went into this, and I'm just coming out of it now. But I went into this phase where I didn't write anything. It's kind of like I've done that with music before too, where I used to write all the time, like no matter where I was or what I was doing. I was always making notes on everything. And now I don't know what happened, but I'm coming back to that. I'm starting to always like think of things and write it down, put it together, and uh I don't know.
So,
I
so when
don't
you
know.
say writing, do you mean like writing memoirs or writing fiction or just writing like a
I
journal? Like, what are you talking about?
well like I write oh no, it's for the memoir. It's for the
Oh,
memoirs.
okay.
But then I also write poetry too. So
Right.
sometimes I'm jotting down poetry stuff, And then sometimes I'll just like sit down and just start writing because I know that I'm like not doing well. So I need to get stuff out of me. I
Uh-huh.
feel like if I don't write, I'm going to end up being an old lady, like a haunted old lady with just like not positive haunted ones.
So what are your poems about? What do you write poems
My
about?
poetry is about everything. I mean, um it the young I like don't even want to look at the stuff I wrote before I was 27 because that shit is really rated X. I don't
Okay.
think anybody should write poetry. I mean, lyrics. This it's crazy. But my poetry is about everything. It's not really themed. It's very eclectic. I did get a couple rejections recently, which has made me feel more of like a writer. Um, but they like that it's eclectic. I'll send you some one day. I'll send you some
Okay.
like later
Cool.
after this and see what
Cool.
you
I haven't
think.
read a poem in a long time. Yeah, I used to
I
fight with
love
this.
writing poetry. I read it
I
all
had
the
this
time
friend
too.
up in Merced who's a poet. I think he's been published now. I'm not sure, but he's been doing it for a long time. And we used to
Yeah.
get in these arguments back when we both used to drink. We would like get in these sort of arguments about. He would say, that poetry is like the highest form of art, and I would say, well, no, songwriters are better because songwriters write words and music, and poets just write words. And poetry is kind of dead art. Like if you ask most Americans anyway to name a poet, a living poet, they probably couldn't. What do you think about that?
I
You
think
think
you're
I'm full
right.
of myself,
Think
or
no,
do you
I
think I
think
don't
you're
give
right.
poetry enough credit?
I think you're right. Most people aren't into poetry. When I tell people I'm a poet or I write poetry, most people, or have no interest in it. I mean,
I have a
they
good
wouldn't
friend that
know
writes
who a
limericks,
poet.
but that's kind of different, huh?
Who? What?
I have a good friend that writes limericks.
That's hilarious.
You know what limericks are, right?
um, Tell me. I don't think I can
Oh, a limerick is
define it.
like there was a young girl from Nice's whose breasts were two different sizes. One was so
Okay.
big, or one was so small was nothing at all. The other was big and won prizes. That's what a limerick is. Oh, you don't write limericks.
No.
There was a young man from Nantucket. You've heard that one?
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
limerick.
I won't
That's
repeat that
funny.
one. That's kind of dirty. It's a family show. Adam's family.
um, it is.
Adam's family.
Yeah. Oh, that was my dog's name, Wednesday Adams.
Oh, I love the Adams family. In fact,
How's
I
your
collect
cat?
the guy that invented the Adams family. This guy Charles Adams, right? He used to draw these creepy cartoons in like the 40s and the 50s, and put them in books. And I've got all these Charles Adams books. And then they made a TV show called The Adams Family based on the characters from his cartoons. It's really cool.
That's where the Adams family's from?
Yep, Charles
Oh,
Adams,
wow.
the New Yorker
Joey.
cartoonist, creepy guy, creepy
So,
cartoons.
were you friends with Greg Shaw? Like, were you guys friends?
Only through the band. I didn't know him other than Amanda Jones. I went to his apartment a couple times to check on like artwork and stuff like that, but I didn't really know him. And I knew Susie a little bit. That's his wife's name, right? Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only knew. I went to their place one time, or maybe it was her place, to get pictures taken or something. But I didn't know them other than from Amanda Jones.
Hmm.
But you guys were friends, right?
Yeah, he was my best friend. I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him a
He seemed
lot.
cool. I just didn't know him.
He was so cool. He came to my first show. He came like early. Like one time I had a birthday party. This is what Greg, he was so sweet. Like I had on my birthday party started at 3 p.m. and it went till whenever. So he shows up at 3 p.m. and I go, Craigie Poo, what are you doing here? It's 3 p.m. He goes, well, that's what you said it started at 3 p.m. So I didn't want you to be waiting for people alone. And I was like, but I said that so they'd get here by midnight. And he's like, well, with your friends, you should have said 3 o'clock yesterday. So
It's funny. I was just thinking about that this morning when you got the time for our recording today wrong. I was thinking, usually with guys, you tell them a time and they think, oh, okay, I got to be there at that time. With girls, you set up a time and it's like it's sort of not negotiable, but it's not as cut and dried. It's like, okay, well, we'll use that as a starting point, and then we'll see what
Yeah,
actually happens.
the band used to always, oh, this used to make me so mad. They used to tell me about, like, they would tell me the show started about an hour before it really did.
I can't hear
And
your page. Can you move closer to the mic or something?
yeah, is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
They would tell me that the show, like the show that we had, was an hour before it actually was. So I would get there on time.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, I used to fly. Well, before they did that, I'd like fly in and just go straight to the stage. Sometimes they would be very upset with me.
Uh-huh. And
But
so
yeah, when they started telling me it was an hour before, oh, that was horrible, because then I'd be early.
so
I
are
didn't
are
like
you
that.
pretty punctual with your real estate appointments? Like when you're showing houses to people, are you on time or
Absolutely. I'm right on time,
right on time?
like
That's good
right
because
there.
people don't like to wait, especially if you're
No,
trying to
and
sell
I'm
them
always
something.
rushing. I'm always rushing. Like I get there like right at the right time.
Well, that's good because if you're trying to sell somebody something, you don't want to make them wait.
No, you can't be late. You cannot be late at all,
No.
and it's not easy either. But it's weird. It's almost like I have to have that urgency to just get me going.
Right.
Like it's almost like I do it on purpose, and then I'm stressed out. But I get there, but I have to like rush.
Right. Well, some people need deadlines and stuff to get them going, and they might put everything off to the last minute, and then it gives them that adrenaline or
Yeah,
whatever to get it finished. And that's good though that you're doing
yeah.
that.
It's part of ADD too. I have pretty bad ADD, and I cope with it. But I do believe it is the probably the reason for any of my failures, and I've had many. So
Okay. So you did the Darlings, and then you became a writer and a real estate agent. Is that what you call it? A realtor? Is that what you are? As a
yeah,
realtor?
yeah. The
Selling real estate.
realtors are
Okay.
the ones who are members of the National Association of Realtors, and then real estate agents are the ones who are not a member of National Association of Real Estate, like NAR, it's called.
And are
I'm
you happy doing
licensed.
that? Do you enjoy doing
I
that? Is it paying
I
off for
love
you?
it. I
Oh,
love it.
good.
I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. I'm a businesswoman now, and I'm licensed in California and Arizona, and it's great. I love it. Yeah, I have a great broker. Um, the desert's different. Being here is different. Um, but we have fun out here. We have in Bullhead City. We have a lot of off-roading. People off-road out here, and they do the river and the lake. And I grew up in Vegas. I grew up like on Lake Mead. I always was at the lake all the time, water skiing and boating. And so I kind of fit right in here with the water stuff, the boating. And I don't really water ski anymore, but I kayak on the river. I paddleboard. I love it.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize you're from Las Vegas. I thought you're from Southern California.
Well, I grew up until I was in second grade. My dad was on the Rams. He was a
Oh, I didn't know
football
that.
player.
What's your
Yeah, he
dad doing
played.
around?
He was a middle linebacker,
Oh,
and he played with. He was right behind the fearsome foursome. He was like I call him an OG. I mean OT,
I
original
remember
tough
Fearsome
guy.
Force. It was Deacon Jones and
Yeah,
what was the
yeah.
white guy's name?
Merlin Olsen,
Merlin Olsen, right? And they had
um,
Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen, and
Braun, Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen, Rosie
Coy
Greer.
Bacon.
Rosie's cool. I
Rosie
like Rosie.
Greer, right? Coy Bacon.
And I think the other guy was last name was Braun, but I can't remember.
That's when I
But
started getting into the Rams. When I was a little kid, they had Roman Gabriel and Jack
yeah,
Snow in the '60s.
Roman
Yeah.
Gabriel, he was the quarterback. George Allen. Yeah, I was a little girl. I was born a Rams fan, and they almost made it
Yeah, they got beat
yesterday.
yesterday, right?
Do you like football?
I used to. I used to enjoy betting on it a lot. I'd buy
Yeah,
these
it's fun.
football cards, and you'd bet like these three or 14 parlays. And in the year 2005, I did really good. I won 8 cards, and it was like every other week. It was great.
Wow.
But after doing that, I it's so boring to watch it when you're not betting on it, for me anyway, because it's
Yeah.
just no excitement. Like if I have money on it, I can't keep my eyes off it. If I'm not betting on it, it's just boring. I like baseball.
You do? Well, when I was in Vegas, my dad coached the UNLV football team, so I had like 60 big brothers, and they used to tell on me all the time because I had a fake ID. Used to go to nightclubs when I was, a teenager, and they would all tell on me because my dad would act like, oh, where'd you see Paige, And did you hear my cat meowing?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you hear? Can you hear my cat meowing? Oh, he
I can't
stopped.
tell what you're
Okay.
saying.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I grew up in Vegas. It was fun
Okay. And when did you move to Southern California from
when I was
Vegas?
18. It was 1982. I was
Okay.
18.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
a little bit younger than me.
I am. I thought I was older than you.
Yeah. No, I was born in '61. I'm gonna be
Oh, okay.
65,
Okay.
so I'm old.
Um. Yeah.
I'm an
So,
old
what
guy.
was it like in? What, has anybody asked you what it was like in jail?
Oh, in jail? No, nobody's ever
Yeah.
asked me that. It was
Why?
real. I'm kidding. It was mostly boring. It's just such a different thing. I was in federal prison, which the security is a lot tighter than state prison, from what I've heard. I've never been in state prison, so I don't know. But I've heard that state prison is a lot more violent. There's a lot more violence and stuff because there's less security. But they're they're so up your ass all the time in federal prison. You can't really anyway. So it wasn't as scary as I expected it to be. It was mostly boring. I mean, there were some tense moments when things could have really gone sideways. Um, but it's mainly, I did a lot of reading. I played chess. I won a ping pong tournament in San Diego. Um, and I tried not to think about what was going on outside while I was in there. But like I said, it was mostly boring. When you're in there, it feels like it lasts forever. But then once you're out, you look back and you say, "Wow, that went by fast." And now it seems like so long ago. I got out about a little over 30 years ago. It seems like a different person almost. I have to really try to remember what it was like because it was just boring. The guards treat you like shit. You find other inmates to sort of gravitate towards that you might have common interests with or that you just enjoy talking to. And the thing that I found most effective for me was just to keep to myself, try to stay out of everybody's way. I wasn't looking to get in fights or prove how tough I was or anything like that. I just wanted to do my time and get out.
Yeah. How long were you there?
3 years.
Okay, that's a good stint
Yeah.
of
Like I said,
time.
once
But I'm
when I was
glad it
doing it,
wasn't scary.
what's that?
I'm glad it wasn't scary for you.
Well, there's like I said, there was a couple times when I got sucker punched by other inmates where it wasn't fun. I had like a big lump on my face and stuff, and they ran away, so I couldn't retaliate. But I don't like I said, I wasn't in there looking for a fight. It was just over stupid stuff. Like when I was in San Diego, this place called MCC San Diego. It's like the federal prison version of a county jail, and it's a big skyscraper down on I think 8th and Union Street in downtown
Oh,
San
I
Diego.
heard that place was scary.
Well, it is. It is kind of scary as far as federal prisons go because it's like the federal version of a county jail. Like the people that are in there are just like pre-trial or probation violations. They're not in for very long. I was transferred there from a camp because my security clearance was really low and they needed somebody to like pick up the trash around the perimeter. And so it's in downtown San Diego, so it'd be really easy to escape if you were going to escape. But I only had a 3 year sentence, so they weren't really afraid of me running off. But anyway, so when I was there, there's like 11 floors of inmates. So one of the floors is for women inmates, and the rest are for men. And I was on the floor that was like, I think it was one above the women's floor, and my inmate used to talk through the heating vents to a woman on the floor below us, and that she was his girlfriend. And I thought it was so stupid. But I made fun of him one morning about his quote unquote girlfriend, and
Sorry.
I was getting dressed. I was buttoning up my uniform because I had to go out and clean the lobby and stuff. And he turned around and socked me in the jaw and went running out of the cell. And then he changed, got his cell changed. But it was just stuff like that, stupid stuff. It was just
Yeah.
my mouth gets me in trouble sometimes. I had to be really careful not to shoot my mouth off in there.
Right, right. Okay.
Can't cut in
Yeah.
line, or you can't touch anybody else's food, or there's all these rules you got to get used to. And it helps if you go in and there's somebody that's been in a while, kind of tells you what to do and what not to do.
Right on. Okay. So, I have another question for
Okay,
you. And it's, my favorite song, Pillbox.
you've said that.
I
You couldn't
love that
remember the
song.
words though with the offbeat. I was kind of surprised. I
I
had to help.
couldn't remember the words
Yeah, I had to jump in and help you because you couldn't remember the words.
at the off. Oh, yeah, I drank a little that night.
Anyway, so okay,
Um,
so thank you. You said Pillbox is your favorite song. Okay, thank you.
like, what was your motivation for that song?
Oh, okay. That's an interesting question. Well, that was actually the second song I ever wrote. I wrote that song when I was in high school. I was about 16 years old, and I don't even think I knew how to play guitar yet. I think I wrote the music once I learned to play guitar and knew a couple chords. I threw a couple chords together. But the motivation for that song is I was trying to compare women to drugs without knowing anything about either one. I hadn't really started doing hard drugs yet. I might have had a girlfriend or two at that point, but I was like 16, so I wasn't that knowledgeable about women. And to me, that song, the words, a lot of them don't make a lot of sense, and to me, it's kind of silly. I think there's a little too many chord changes. For a long time, the Joneses stopped playing that song. It was one of the first songs that we played, and then after a couple of years, I got tired of it. We stopped playing it, and then when the internet came along, like about the time I got out of prison, all these people were talking about Pillbox, that song, and so we had to start doing it again because everybody wanted to hear that song, and now it's like the most well-known Joneses song. And like I said, for a long time we stopped playing it. But it was me trying to compare girls to drugs, and a lot of my songs, they might sound like they're about drugs, but they're actually about girls, and vice versa. They might sound like they're about girls, but they're about drugs. And yeah, so that's what that's.
No, but wait, you know what? When we did that song well, 2 points. When we did that song at the offbeat, which I was so excited about doing that song with you. And I think it just sounded different. And I think it was Rick's fault.
Well, we didn't rehearse. I mean, it helps to
We had no
rehearse.
rehearsal, true.
You might think
Rick's gonna
a
get mad
song
at me if he
backwards and
sees
forwards,
this.
and then you get up there and try to play it without rehearsing, and it just it's not the same. It's like
Oh my
the first time
God.
I tried to sing karaoke. I was at a bar, and that was back when I would be getting drunk, and it was a song that I knew backwards and forwards. And once it started, I was like, the words are right there in front of you, and the music's playing, and you're like,
Like,
so I
I
understand what
see.
that's like.
No, I can sing that song a cappella to people if I'm telling them oh no, you got to hear the lyrics for this song. And I
Yeah,
can't believe you wrote that when you were 16.
I
I
wrote that like the second song I ever wrote.
And I've tried to cover that song with two bands, and nobody would cover it with me. The
Really?
Darlings wouldn't, and neither would when I was in that band, the Ingrates, with Poobah and Tommy. Well, that was Tommy. Tommy didn't want to cover it. I don't know why. It's such a great song. I I wanted to cover it so bad.
that's that song's been covered by a few people. That's always the Joneses song that people want to cover. The Chelsea Smiles covered it, and the Lower Class Brats covered it, and I think the Oxys are getting ready to cover it, maybe. But that's always the song that people want to cover. I
It's
got to
such a
say,
great
I'm
song.
fortunate that I wrote a song that people like, but I think I've written way better songs than that one. But I'll take it.
But I have to say, I think that your analogy between drugs and girls, which was obvious to me, that that's what you were doing, and I just thought it was great.
Oh, well,
I
thanks,
think you
Paige.
did a great job.
Oh, well, thanks.
But all your lyrics are funny, you know?
Oh,
I mean, they're
thanks.
very good.
Yeah, my
I
songs are
love
sort of
them.
like punchlines put to music. That's what I tell people.
I love them. Love them. You're a great writer, a really good writer. You
Yeah.
said
Well,
you
thank
you
you,
said I
Paige.
could write a song with you.
Yeah, sure. I need to get going again on the songwriting. Everybody tells me that. We just did a few shows with the Hangman last year, and Brian was like, "Jeff, you got to start writing songs again." I'm like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes,
okay,
you
I
do.
will. Yeah, we should write a song together. So, so, so what's coming up for you, Paige? You're selling real estate. You're working on your memoirs, and you've got some poetry you're trying to sell. What happened with your deal? Why did that not go through? You were really
Well,
happy when
it,
they
it,
accepted.
it ended up being a hybrid deal, and they wanted me to pay money, and I said, no
Oh, like a
freaking
vanity
way.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with
So,
that. But I remember you
they
were really
said,
excited when they accepted you. You posted a thing
I
on
was, I
Facebook,
was, I was so excited. I
and it turned
was.
out to
I
be a
mean, I
scam,
feel
right?
kind of dumb now.
Well,
But at least I
that
got a
that's what
couple
we
of
do.
rejections after that. So, I'm a real writer now.
Yeah. I mean, nobody. I actually, that's after when I wrote my book. I mean, I know people get tired of hearing me talk about my book, but
I love
when
the
I wrote
book.
my book, and I told Iris that because I thought if Iris doesn't do it, nobody's going to do it, and she said yes, and then she said no the next day, and I was like and then nobody's going to
The
put my
next
book out.
day, oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
heartbreaker.
Anyway, uh, she was too busy, I guess. She couldn't give it the attention she wanted. At least that was her excuse. So
I'm
anyway,
scared.
then I approached. I some friend of mine on Facebook said, Jeff, you should, because I put the word out there. Hey, I wrote a book and I'm looking for a publisher, and this guy John Pyree, who I think he was in a band called the Naked Eyes, Dirty Eyes, or something like that. Anyway, he said check out Hozak, and so I wrote them this email saying, "Hey, my name's Jeff Drake. I'm in a band called the Joneses, and I wrote this book. Blah blah blah." And I didn't know if they had ever heard of me or what, And they sent me this thing that, "Oh, Jeff, we'd love to put out your book," and I was shocked, because I thought I was going to have to
That's
hit up
so
like
cool.
every publisher in the world, and the first one I talked to wanted to do it, and so I'm really fortunate in that way. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, when you're good, you're good.
I can't hear you, Paige. You need to be
I
closer to the
said,
mic.
when you're good, you're good.
I still didn't hear what you said.
When you're good, you're good. Do I need
Oh,
to turn this? It's up
well,
all
or
the
lucky.
way.
I guess it's better to be lucky than good anyway.
Yeah, that might be true. That might be. Can you hear me
Yeah,
now? This thing is
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit not that great, huh? Okay.
yes.
Well, um, yeah, I'm afraid to give anything to Iris because her rejection will break my heart.
Well, she keeps telling me she's going to retire and stop doing it, and then she just keeps on doing it. So I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
even want to give her anything because if she says no, I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
I was shocked because I thought, I
I
told
think
her
you would
that
have been
I'd
perfect
written
for
a book,
it.
and she said, "Oh, that's a great idea. I'd be honored." And then the next day she called me and said, "You know what, Jeff? I can't do it. I'm so busy. I've got so many things going. I just can't. I can't do it." And then I was brokenhearted because I like I said, I didn't think anybody, if she didn't do it, I didn't think anybody would, because we've been friends for
Yeah.
so long, and I thought, man, if my good friend won't do it, then who else is going to want to do it? But then I was lucky. Hozak, I hit them up and they said yes right away. So I was, it was a big relief for me.
I bet that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
When you
really
get
cool.
your
Your
book
book
written,
is
you should.
great.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you read it. When you get yours done, you should definitely hit up Hozak. They just did a book with Jenny Shore. They did my book. They did a book with BB Buell. I think you'd be perfect, a good match with them.
Really, I could actually send them a sample, like a
Sorry, my
small
phone's ringing.
like part,
I'll
you
let my
know.
cat answer it. So I didn't hear what you said. I was busy talking.
I said I could send them, you know, something for them to see if they might be interested. I'm gonna hit them up.
Yeah,
I
what
will
I would
hit
do
them up.
first, I mean, you could take my advice or not, but just send them an email like I did, describing who you are. They might even already know who you are because I was surprised they knew about me and stuff. And they're really big rock and roll fans, so they might already know about the
Wow.
Darlings and just tell them what you did and what you've done and what you want to do. And if they don't want to do it, they might point you in the direction of somebody that does.
Oh,
But
cool.
they like to put out rock and roll books, and I know they like to put out rock and roll books by girl singers because or girl musicians
Really?
anyway, because they already have done a few. So I would hit them up. They're nice guys too. They do a good
Okay.
job. I was really happy with the way my book looked and everything, the way they put it together, and they were really easy to work with.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
guys.
just impressed that you did that in 2 months. I'm
Um,
impressed.
Well, that was 2 months after I really started trying. I wasted about a month of not really doing it. Like I said, writing about a page a week. I couldn't really get into it. But once I put my mind to it and started doing it every day, see, I was fortunate that I didn't have a job. I had a lot of time on my hands. My marriage had just broke up. And so I was writing like 4 or 5 hours a day every day. And so that's how I was able to get it done so quickly. I did a book signing at that place in Echo Park, and this girl came up to me and she asked me how long it took me to write my book. And I said, oh, about 2 months. She goes, oh my God, I've been working on mine for 5 years. I'm like, wow.
That's me. That's me.
um, but
Five
hers was
effing
fiction. Hers
years
was a
since
novel. And
2020.
I tried to explain, with a novel, you got to invent all these characters to come up with a story, and it all has to make sense. With me, it was just trying to remember stuff, so that's a lot easier.
Yeah, I know. If I don't hurry up, I'm not going to remember.
You'll remember. You'll remember. Anyway, Paige, we've got to wrap this up. It's been great having you on the show. Hopefully you'll come down to those Joneses shows, and good luck with your book and your poetry and your home
Thank you.
sales. And maybe we'll get to write a song together coming up here.
I hope so, Jeff.
Yeah, we will.
Don't break my
Anyway, thanks for
heart.
being on the show, Paige.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's been really fun talking with you. You know I love you.
That was
Mwah.
great. Thank you, Paige. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, ciao.
Okay, bye, Paige.